the fuck is your focus? Ego sumo colossus de peregrinus vos iuxtim, domina es per noctem, nuntius veritatis.
What's up?
So today's topic, we are going to be touching a little bit on astrology, a little bit of symbolism, a little bit of shit that I channeled. We will be answering the question, who is Ophiuchus?
And I sound really weird saying that. That's preferably how it's pronounced. I gotta pronounce it in a classical Latin accent, so don't mind me. If you pronounce it differently, you do you.
Astrological origin. Astrology first came about in ancient Babylon when the individuals inhabiting that area decided to break up the sky into 12 sections for divination purposes. It is purported that because the Babylonians believed in gods which came from the heavens, that the sky would also dictate their fate, hence astrology being born. So the Babylonians were the first group of people to divide the sky into 12 sections, and then the ancient Egyptians divided those 12 sections into 3 separate equal parts inside of each of the 12 sections, as we know today as decans or decanates. After this, astrology spread to ancient Greece, whose influence added their own titles to each of the constellations of those 12 divisions in the sky, in the chart. And then astrology spread to the ancient Romans, whose 12 names of the Zodiac are still utilized today.
Whenever you say your zodiac sign, you're pretty much speaking ancient Latin.
So, where does Ophiuchus fit into this equation? The 13th sign we bring you now to present day, and the 12 zodiac signs you are likely familiar with. It is purported that when the Babylonians divided up the night sky way back when, they decided to use 12 equal sectors in order to make the astrology wheel look tidy. In recent years,
2011 to be exact,
a big story came out about how the constellations had shifted over the years since the ancient Babylonians calculated the sky, and that the signs of present day had shifted.
Did any of y'all remember that? Because I remember that, and I was like,
oh snap.
I didn't believe it though.
Spoiler alert.
I didn't believe it then, I don't believe it now, but we gonna keep it moving. If you're familiar with Vedic astrology, you're probably already familiar with this phenomena, the constellations shifting and shit, as the Vedic system utilizes a chart based off of current celestial calculations rather than the ones imposed during ancient times. Why did this story come out in 2011 then? Because most of the Western world utilizes the tropical zodiac house system, and this story broke in the Western world.
I don't know if it broke where you're at, but it was a big hot topic up in the US.
Apparently, when the story broke, some chaos erupted within the masses because many individuals had thought that their zodiac signs had changed. Some astrologers, however, already saw this coming because they already knew that the constellations had shifted.
Good thing NASA came to the rescue.
Being that the ancient Greeks had had a hand in astrology, and the Greek word for star is
I'ma so butcher this.
astere, we can see that astrology and astronomy both stem from the archaic definition of the word star, or of the stars. NASA, and I can't even say NASA with a straight face. NASA, who purportedly studies space and stars, quickly stepped in to say that even though they had allegedly discovered a 13th zodiac sign that the sun is purported to appear to traverse through, that astronomy and astrology are not one and the same. Astrology, after all, is considered to be a pseudoscience by some. Then why did NASA even announce at all that they had discovered a new constellation in the lineup that the sun purportedly appears to traverse around? Well, friends, if you know anything about NASA, you might already have the answer to that question. But let's keep it moving. fables. NASA allowed this story to come out and then quickly mentioned that the astrology signs were, yes, indeed, the same as they had been previous to this story breaking. But at the same time, they did acknowledge the existence of the appearance of the sun purporting to traverse through the constellation of Ophiuchus. Side note, this kind of reminds me of the Area 51 shit, where that was that big thing a few years back too, where motherfuckers were like,
oh, let's go and raid Area 51.
And then they stormed Area 51 and basically found nothing, but it was broadcast all over the place like,
aha,
Area 51 is so top secret, but let's hype it up so the masses could flood there. But then it's gonna be a big like, but it really isn't, because, I mean, we already know about Area 51, don't we? Oh, and now, by the way, there's talk of Area 52.
That's another video.
So the question remains, why would NASA subtly enter Ophiuchus into the chat at all? Who is Ophiuchus? What does Ophiuchus symbolize? Ophiuchus. So I am going to read directly from a definition that I found online. Ophiuchus is a large constellation straddling the celestial equator. Its name comes from the ancient Greek Ophiuchus, meaning serpent bearer, and it is commonly represented as a man grasping a snake. The serpent is represented by the constellation Serpens. Ophiuchus also means snake charmer.
Snake bearer, snake charmer.
According to ancient Greek legend, Ophiuchus is representative of
I'm gonna butcher this one.
Asclepios,
It's fucking semantics. We're not here for semantics, we're here for channeling.
a god who rules medicine and is also the son of Apollo. The story suggests that Asclepios killed a serpent with his staff, and then another snake or serpent came along and raised him from the dead.
Got a little Jesus resurrection thing going on, like with Lazarus.
This may also be why Asclepios is alleged to have the ability to raise the dead, and why Ophiuchus resides inside the constellation of Serpens. Depending on the research you do, you're going to hear or read a whole lot of backstory on this, and there are going to be different places that say different things, but we already know what the fuck his story is, so it's basically the general gist of it, okay? Now, since Asclepios was the middle ground betwixt the dead serpent and the serpent coming back to life, this is why Ophiuchus is depicted betwixt Caput, the head of the serpent or dragon, and Gauda, the tail of the serpent or dragon. So in archaic times, a dragon and a serpent sometimes were used interchangeably. If you do your own research, you will see this for yourself.
But there you go.
So to clarify, because this might have gotten a little confusing, Ophiuchus is called serpent bearer or snake charmer, and he is located in the middle portion of the constellation Serpens, betwixt the head and the tail of that serpent. Astronomy. The constellation of Serpens was discovered by Ptolemy in the 2nd century and was sometimes considered to be an entirely different constellation from Ophiuchus. Serpens is quite a large star group, ranked, fun fact, 23rd of the 88 modern constellations. And notable borders of Serpens are the familiar astrological signs of Virgo, Libra, and Sagittarius, which leads us to new date. When the news broke in regards to the 13th sign, Ophiuchus, people started wondering,
well, what the fuck did my star sign change to?
if it did at all. Because some did, some did, some didn't, but we gonna get into that. So the new dates have a little bit of a similarity to the Vedic system, as in you could look at them as either pushed back or pushed forward, but here they are in case you wanted clarity. Aries, April 19th to May 13th. Taurus, May 14th to June 19th. Gemini, June 20th to July 20th. Cancer, July 21st to August 9th. Leo, August 15th to September 19th. Virgo, September 16th to October 30th. Libra, October 31st to November 22nd. Scorpio, November 23rd to November 29th. Ophiuchus, November 30th to December 17th. Sagittarius, December 18th to January 18th. Capricorn, January 19th to February 15th. Aquarius, February 16th through March 11th. Pisces, March 12th to April 19th.
I have to be perfectly honest. I don't know who came up with this 13th sign thing.
Was it a Virgo?
I'ma just add a whole damn near 2 months to that zodiac. Meanwhile,
someone was salty on Scorpio
because they got 6 days or some shit. I mean, I don't know. That don't seem even or justified or equal to me. If you want to add a 13th sign, at least break it down so that all of them have around the same number of days.
I don't know, it's just my opinion.
So, Scorpios, y'all got 6 days. I don't know what to tell you. And Virgos, I mean, it's Virgo season all day, every day, I guess, with this system. Who knows?
Moving along.
Characteristics. If we want to go with the mythology and storyline of Ophiuchus, we can see why some of the alleged characteristics make sense. Ophiuchus falls betwixt Scorpio and Sagittarius, so we see a blend of both of these signs prevalent in the traits of this particular sign. A little mysterious rebel on our hands. Those born under the sign of the snake bearer or snake charmer are said to be the very epitome of living on the edge, or like the age-old phoenix who has risen from the ashes. They've been through shit, but they ready to conquer more shit. You know what I'm saying? Rebellious, alluring, psychologically deep, and somewhat of a witchy vibe are associated with the sign of Ophiuchus. Someone who is a natural counselor, who gives great advice without losing sense of their own independence. Ophiuchus, as I mentioned, is associated purportedly with witchcraft and sorcery, as well as having an indomitable spirit and a knack for being surrounded by controversy. As far as the snake affiliation is concerned, those born under this zodiac sign may be considered seductive as well as venomous, with the ability to heal coupled with the ability to destroy.
I mean, it does kind of sound a little bit like a mix of Sagittarius and Scorpio.
A little bit. Do you think you sound like an Ophiuchus? Mainstream theories. The most common reason why it is believed that Ophiuchus was omitted from the original Babylonian 12-sign calendar chart is because of the 13th number aspect. It might have simply been more congruent and cohesive to base a chart off of 12 equal houses rather than 13 unequal houses. Another reason stated is because,
you guessed it,
13 is considered an unlucky number and also a number associated with witchcraft, and therefore was considered to be taboo to add to the zodiacal wheel. Channeling. We already know the backstory, historically speaking, about Ophiuchus, but what about the philosophical, metaphorical, interdimensional, and perhaps extraterrestrial aspect of why this story was dropped into the mainstream media?
Why do any stories get dropped into the mainstream media?
We know that nothing that we see in the mainstream media is broadcast there by sheer coincidence. Let's take a look at the representation of the mascots of the 12 zodiacal signs. We have land mammals, we have sea creatures, we have humanoids, we have arachnids, we even have an inanimate fucking object. What's missing? Do we see any reptiles?
No, we sure fucking don't.
But we do now, because Ophiuchus was broadcast.
He had a good PR team, I'll tell you that.
Why does the reptile 13th sign of the zodiac get a big story drop? A snake, or a snake bearer, or a snake charmer is simply just an aspect of a narrative that's been dangling in front of motherfuckers' faces for the longest time now. A snake.
You bear a snake.
You charm a snake.
Everyone can be the snake, metaphorically. The snake sheds its skin, it molts, it changes, it shape-shifts.
Oh yeah.
In my view, in my opinion, from what I see, from what I channeled, this OPHIUCHUS debacle was created as a little sideshow to lure the masses in. Say, did you know that your zodiac sign might have changed? A lot of motherfuckers are familiar with their zodiac sign. That's gonna lure them in. They take the bait.
But wait.
No, your zodiac sign didn't change. We just found a fucking reptilian constellation for you.
Here you go.
Spotlight on the snake, drop the mic, walk away, exit stage right, spotlight on serpents, After all, NASA put out something like an official statement about this. And what do we know about NASA? They study space.
NASA studies space. There's a space program. Space is real.
So there you have it. You grab the attention of the masses with a story that they might find a commonality in, zodiac signs. You put a little bit of controversy in to stir the pot to get their attention focused where they want the attention to be focused on, in this case, serpents.
You drop the mic.
You walk away.
It's kind of like plain sight symbolism, much like the snake eyes in the Pope's concert hall. I mean, we all know about that, don't we? And it's really as simple as that. Broke it down for you, right?
Do you see what I see?
What do you think? Conclusion. No matter what your thoughts are about the 13th zodiac sign, and if you believe in that astrological chart system or not, would you agree that this story came out of nowhere and then seemed to have vaporized and vanished, but it's still out there circulating? Motherfuckers still know about OPHIUCHUS.
Right?
Right.
Do you ever wonder why a sudden weird story pops up in the mainstream media and then seems to dissipate right away? It's all by design.
Everything that occurs in the Matrix is by program.
What you see depends on the individual eye, the individual observer. How do you interpret any type of new story that comes out? If it remains around for a while, or if it blows over quickly? Are there any weird stories you've seen pop up in the media that maybe no one else had noticed or paid attention to? What is your intuitive response when you see or hear a new story dropped in the mainstream?
Remember, friends,
Let every eye discern for itself and trust no agent. That is what I have for you today in regards to the 13th zodiac sign, OPHIUCHUS. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful stroll. I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. We will chit-chat again soon.